Hello friends, it's Chad here from Colorado Giants. Today is Thursday, May 26th, and we're going to be talking about irrigation today and how to water your giant pumpkin plants. Stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in today. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and follow along with our pumpkin growing adventure this year. Part of me trying to advance your education as well as my own is we're going to continue to talk about how to do things and what specifically I do. With the disclaimer always that just because I do it does not mean in any way, shape, or form it is necessarily the best way, the only way, or the right way. It's just what I do. Make your own darn decisions. You're a grown adult, or if you're a kiddo, ask your dad. He knows everything. So I'm going to tell you about a few different methods and specifically what I do to water my irrigation plants. So let's do that, shall we? Here we are at my watering station. I've been redoing it all, so it is a bit of a huge mess. So I have my water supply. I'm going to talk you through what I do, and then we'll talk about some other things. Here's my water supply line, and then from there it goes into my 200-gallon cone bottom mixing tanks. One thing that I added this year is the ability to independently mix either one of the tanks. So if I turn that valve off, I turn that valve off, I turn this valve off, what I'm doing is I'm creating a loop where this pump right here, here's a 2,400 gallon per hour pump, that's going to take this water and mix it. So I'll be able to mix this tank if I want to. And what I should do is I probably should put a ball valve right here so I can water out of this tank while I'm mixing that tank. Or I can shut off that valve, turn on that valve, turn off that valve, turn on this valve, and I'll be able to mix this tank. So that gives me some freedom, some ability to mix my fertilizer while another tank is filling, or while they're both filling, or whatever I want to do. I could mix both tanks if I want to just have a generic fertilizer solution. From there, I go to my ball valve, I go to my backflow preventer, and then my header line that comes off to, or my trunk line that goes to my header line. So I use what's called a drip system, a drip irrigation. This flows to these ball valves, and then it goes through a drip tape, which I am going to try to get out today, at least where the pumpkins are, especially that one right there, because it's getting kind of big. And that will just drippity drip across the duration. Those tapes obviously run out in this direction, and it kind of covers my pumpkin patch and it drips water down. So that's what I do. But there is many ways to do your pumpkin irrigation. Some people will just use your good old impact sprinkler, your type of sprinkler. They'll put it on the periphery, they'll inject fertilizer into that, and they'll shoot it around the pumpkin patch. That works great. There's people who use mini sprinklers underneath the canopy, something kind of similar to what I use, but they use mini sprinklers that maybe shoot up like 2 or 3 inches. There's wobblers, there's misters, there's people who are retired who grow giant pumpkins and they water by hand. In no way, shape, or form do you have to have some 200-gallon cone-bottomed, monstrosity to irrigate your giant pumpkins. You don't need that. You could just use this guy right here and come out 2 or 3 times a day and water your pumpkin. That's all it needs. Because I'm trying to grow the biggest of the biggest I possibly can. I'm taking everything to the extreme. It's all dependent upon how hard you want to go, how full ass you want to be. I want to go all the way. I want to grow 2,000-pound pumpkins, so I'm utilizing things that help me to achieve that goal. The main reason that I use drip tape, why do I like drip tape? It's because of a lot to do with the environment that I'm in, and where I used to grow in my old greenhouses. I like drip tape because of my environment. It's hot, it's dry. I live in basically a high desert. So by putting the water on, basically it's on the ground, that is giving it the best chance to soak in and get a nice deep soak and get that water from the top all the way down to the roots very rapidly. And then once, the plants form a canopy, obviously the leaves are covering the soil and everything. I don't want to fertilize my plants with the overhead method because I fertilize aggressively, as do most giant pumpkin growers. I don't want to get the fertilizer on the leaves at any point during, the hotness of the day. You can fertilize in the morning time, in the evening time. I'm pretty much always fertilizing in some way, shape, or form. So I don't want that fertilizer to get on the leaves because that will burn the leaves, and that would do a lot more harm than good. So, that's the main reason why I don't overhead irrigate. The other reason is because I have all the stuff. It's worked for me. I've had it for years, and it works. The only thing that you really need to replace are the soaker lines. Those are an every, I don't know, maybe 2-year, 3-year thing. Everything else I've had for a few years, and it works great. So let me show you kind of my process of starting up my system. That might be kind of interesting. If not, thanks for watching. But let me show you how I start up my system. So here we are at the mixing station. I just turned on the switch, and we're gonna go down here, check everything out. I already did this one. I did the main feeder line, and now, or the trunk, and now I'm doing the feeders, or vice versa, whatever you want to call it. So I didn't have these header lines on. I had them all off. I turned on the water and I let it blow out. Over the course of the year, the fertilizer will kind of build up in the lines and dirt and whatnot, so I don't want that plugging up my drip lines. So I unhooked those and I let it all kind of run out. And then that's basically the same thing here. We're doing this zone by zone. I already did that one, and we'll do this one together. And all I'm doing is making sure that there's really no leaks of any magnitude that are concerning. I'm making sure that these are not plugged up in any way. If they are, I kind of give them a tap, and that usually will free up the junk in there. And then I'm turning them off because then the pressure goes down. If the hoses were connected, eventually the pressure would equalize, and these all would have the same pressure. Like, here's a good example right here. This one's got some schmutz in it. It's not doesn't have the same flow. So really, all you need to do, there you go. There's just a little something stuck in there. Same with this one. If we just give it a little whatnot, there you go. Knocked off whatever was stuck in there. Now it's flushed out, and then it won't get into the lines when I put them on. So we got another one. There you go. That's all you need to do. Now we'll continue to turn these off because I'm not going to connect all the lines immediately. These ones where the plants are, because I think it's important to water all of your root zone. But these ones I won't put on the soaker lines right away. So you can see all of these look good, except this one right here. And I just saw it go out. So just a booger was holding that one up. And that is that. So now everything is shut off, and we'll make sure that we don't have any blowouts with now the pressure that is in the system. We're good to go. And last but not least, I'll do this last one here, but I will spare you that because you just watched it. And just so you can see it, this is literally the first time I kicked it on. So I have it set so I'm mixing this tank. And you can see water's coming up from the pump. at a pretty good tilt. So if I were to add, you know, my whatever into this tank, that's going to mix it up really, really good and really, really easily. So that's a piece of cake. I don't have to do anything other than, you know, add my scoops or my glugs of whatever I want to fertilize. I can have this mix like all night maybe, and then I can run it out and water, turn this tank off, turn this tank on, and then I'm watering the fertilizer solution in this tank. And then while that's happening, while I'm watering out of here, then I couldn't do that. I would have to do 2 lines. Next revision. Anyway, I could have this tank watering out. No, I couldn't. You know what I mean. I could mix one tank. I can have one tank mixing, and if I put a bulb right there, yeah, I could water this tank while this one is mixing. So maybe I'll do that. I'll add a ball valve right there. And then I could water this, mix this, have fertilizer going through. I like that. It's a good idea, Chad. Thanks. So that is it. Let's talk about the drip line. Let's wrap this video up, shall we? So several minutes later, all I did was I put my roll of drip tape onto my ladder, and I kind of ran out a length of what I needed to measure, you know, the distance on the drip tape, and then I just rinsed and repeated for, you know, every segment of plant. And then I think you could probably see it right here where my thumb is the slit. There you go. You can see it in the shimmer. So these slits are every like 10 inches in this drip tape. You can get them in different measurements. You know, you can get them every 10, you know, 12, 16, 18, etc., etc., etc. I've kind of settled on the 10. I want a little more water this year. So I got 10-inch spacing, and then these are about 12 inches between each valve. And then it's super simple. All you do is you connect this to these little ball valves down there, and you're ready to rock and roll. Make sure that you put the tape side up, the drip tape up, so in case you get any sediment, you will get some sediment. Even if you use a filter or something, some schmutz always comes through. You want it to bubble out the top. You want the water to come out to the top, so that anything that's in a line kind of settles to the bottom and doesn't plug up your emitter. So that is it. That is how I irrigate the pumpkin plants, in addition to occasional spraying and misting, which we'll go over at some point. But again, you know, do whatever works for you. That's the best way to do it. Make sure you subscribe, comment below if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time.